Today we're going to look at solving systems of linear inequalities, and we've already learned how to graph inequalities and graphing inequalities. You graph the line, and it's either going to be solid or dashed, and then you're going to have a shading depending on the greater than or less than symbol. So in this, we're going to sketch the graph of this following system. We have x is less than 4, y is greater than or equal to 3, and the third equation is x minus y is greater than or equal to 4. Now we're going to need to solve this equation for y, so we're going to take a negative x to both sides and get y is greater than or equal to negative x plus 4. And this is a negative y, so we're going to have to multiply through by a negative 1. When we multiply everything by a negative 1, what we end up getting is y is less than or equal to x minus 4. So there's our third line, our third inequality that we'll have to graph. Now let's go through, this will refresh our memories on a few things. X is less than 4 is a vertical line going through 4 on the x-intercept. It is going to be a dashed line and it's going to be shaded down below. So I will put my dot at 4, right? And then I'm going to draw my dashed line going through my dashed line going through 4. Now the shading for this is going to be below. Now instead of shading it all the way, what I always do is I just kind of put marks in here. I know my shading is going to be less than or to the left of this line. Okay? It's going to be less than or to the left of that line. Now we're going to graph the other equation or inequality here. Y is greater than or equal to negative 3. Right, now, with this one, it's a horizontal line going through negative 3 on our y-axis. And it's going to be a solid line because it's greater than or equal to. So when I draw this line, it'll be a solid line going through negative 3. Now again, my shading, all right, I know I don't have to worry about over here because this one is shaded over here. So I'm just going to, again, put some arrows right here to say where the shading is. Now, somewhere from here on up is where our answer is going to be, the common shaded area. Now, the third line has a y-intercept of negative 4, so it's going to be lower. Hold on a minute. So we graph the third line, y-intercept of negative 4, so I put a dot there. All right, I put a dot at negative 4. All right, my slope is 1 over 1. So I'm going to go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. Now this is going to be a solid line, but the shading is going to be down below, so the shaded area here is actually going to be very, very small. Again, this will be a solid line because it's less than or equal to. All right, now again, look at where our common parts are here. Shading for this one's above, shading for this one's above, shading for this one's below, so our common area of shade is right in here. And that is our answer. Now we have these 4 points or 3 points right there. All right, so our common area of shade is right there. And that would be the answer to, or sketching the system, all right, sketching the inequality system with the 3. And that would be our answer. In our second example, we are going to go the opposite way. We are given 2 inequalities, 2 lines with shaded region. So we're going to write a system of linear inequalities that defines the shaded region. So what we have to do is we have to write the 2 inequalities for each line. The first line, I'm going to try to find my y-intercept. And my y-intercept here is going to be at 1. Right, so I know I'm going to be plus 1. It is a dashed line. Right, it is a dashed line, so I know I'm going to be greater than. So y is greater than. Now I need to find my slope. And so I'm going to pick my points here. I got a point here. If you look at the slope here, it looks like it goes up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. So I have a slope of 1 over 1. So there's my first inequality. Y is greater than, actually it would be y is less than, all right, greater than, y is less than because the shading is down below. So y is less than x plus 1. So this first line right here, the top line is y is less than x plus 1. All right. Now let's take a look at the second line. The second line is a solid line, so we know it's going to be greater than or equal to or less than or equal to. Actually, we know it's going to be greater than or equal to because the shading's above. Now let's find its y-intercept. The y-intercept here is a -2. So far we know we're going to have y. We know we're going to have a -2. We know it's going to be greater than or equal to. Greater than or equal to because the shading's above. Now we need to determine the slope. And again, to determine the slope, I'm going to go here. We can pick a couple of points. There's another point right there. But again, the slope here is going to be, again, 1/1. So there's my 2. This is my system for that shaded region that represents that shaded region. Y is less than x plus 1, represents the top line. Y is greater than or equal to x minus 2, represents the bottom line. So again, this bottom line would be y is greater than or equal to x plus 2. And that would be, again, the system for that shaded region.